Hello, hello.
Hi, Fabiola.
Hello, Hans. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, likewise.
Mm.
So,
About
here
today.
we are. Pardon?
What are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about the workshop that we've got coming up on Saturday, which I'm pretty excited about. Tantra+Tango for couples. So, I'm doing this because this is related to the things that I'm doing, but I saw the work that you did a few months ago with couples, and I just wanted to work with you. So thank you for making this happen. For anybody who's listening, we're going to take about 20 minutes here. So let me just set my timer. We're going to take about 20 minutes to talk about the workshop that we've got coming up on Saturday, October 14th. Now, I'm anticipating this will be the first of a number of things that we do. But the first will be October 14th.
Yes, this Saturday. So we're talking about the relationship between tango or any dance and tantra. So I was asking you earlier, I was curious about what do you see, what correlations do you see between tango and tantra or yoga?
Yeah, so I've been teaching a yoga / tango for lovers class now since it's actually a conversation that we had around Valentine's Day this year. And it's been quite wonderful, but this started in a really explicit way. I guess it was 2019. I was at an in-person workshop that John Wineland and Kendra Kunov were hosting in San Francisco called Fearless Intimacy. And as this was really my first introduction to this work of polarities, so what some people call sexual yoga. Certainly it relates to what I understand about Tantra. It's from a yogic perspective, working with this masculine and feminine polarities that all of us have within us, and how do we, especially like when we first meet people, often there's this incredible magnetic or chemical or something that we don't know how to name, and the ancient yogis talked about it in terms of these polarities of the masculine and feminine. I mean, they would go so far as to talk about, this is the dance of Shiva and Shakti that goes back to the beginning of everything. This energy of masculine awareness and basically holding the space and seeing and knowing everything, and then everything else, this feminine flow that just is everything. Is the wind, is the tide, is the beauty, is everything. So anyway, I was at this workshop, and as they were talking about it, I thought, I've been dancing tango since 2007, so that was 12 years at that point, and I just thought, there's a lot here that relates to what tango is. So most of what people see around tango is stage stuff, or it's choreographed stuff. But the real tango that's danced by millions of people around the world is actually a much more subtle and simple, in some ways, dance, and it has to do with, in my interpretation and the way I teach it, it has to do with this lead-follow dynamic that's very much an archetypal masculine-feminine dynamic. Doesn't mean that you have to be a man leading or a woman following. There's there are men who follow, there are women who lead, But as soon as we step into that lead follow dynamic, and particularly in tango, and I'll talk a bit about that why, but when that happens, then we can, if we can polarize, if however we're gendered or whatever, however, if I'm in the follow, then, and whoever is in the lead is able to hold that space and give me that feeling of being completely held,
Exactly.
then I just want to move.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to move in a way that's guided. I don't want to move erratically and all over the place. I want to flow within the banks of the river that the lead is creating. So, and a lot of that has to do with the lead, being very clear about where they're going, and also very still in lots of ways.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I'm at this workshop and I'm thinking, or this retreat, and I'm thinking this for me, tango is the dance of polarities. And part of that has to do with the fact that tango, again, unlike unlike any other partner dance that I've danced, and I've danced a lot of different kinds of partner dances, it's improvised. There are there are sequences that we learn to do and stuff, but really what's beautiful about it is that we're just making things up in the moment. And there's a saying in tango that you lead by following the follow. And to me, that's very much about, again, what I understand about Tantra, and certainly what I understand about sexual yoga, which is, I may have an idea about something even before that. So most of our relationships start when the feminine signals that she wants masculine attention of some kind. So lots of us guys think that we're these great hunters or something, like that we're the ones who are initiating. But most of what happens in our relationship, if you ask most guys, like how did the relationship start? It happens when we feel something from her. It doesn't have to be a big gesture. It's just some kind of feeling that, oh, like there's an opening here and I'm interested. Mm-hmm. So in tango, it's very much like that. We'll start by, I'll hold her and I'll feel how she wants to move. Now, this takes lots of practice, and that's what we're going to talk about. And and the reason that I want to do stuff around tango is because, and again, going back to, some of my teachers like David Data and John Wineland, they talk about tussle. So there's a kind of play in this polarity. There's lots of times where, and for me as a masculine identified man, the behavior or the words or whatever coming from the feminine woman who I'm attracted to isn't always pleasant and soothing. Sometimes it's like, I don't like this. Mm-hmm. And so what my teachers have taught me is that rather than collapsing and closing there, to actually engage with her in a kind of play that play very much asks me to be artful with my own masculine energy and with her feminine energy. And to me,
let me just pause you right there, because I think that is gold for all men. When the feminine has a request that perhaps can come across as criticism, right? Mm-hmm. So instead of collapsing and freezing, is how do I engage in play? Correct?
Yeah.
That's that's just life, right? And it's just a beautiful way of practicing, because that's what dance is. That's what sex is, as we talked last time. It's just play. So when you get to be in a safe space, call it a workshop or a class, it's a safe environment to play in. That how can I make sure that I don't shut down? How can I make sure I'm leading the follower? How do you say it?
Yeah, we lead by following the follow.
Yes. And that applies in the dance floor, that applies in sex, that applies in any kind of discussion that we have with our partners, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Beautiful.
for me, tango is this. So we're going to start our workshop on Saturday with some yoga, where I'm going to get people's energy moving in their bodies. Then you're going to have a segment of a tantric exploration,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're going to take it into a very, very simple tango. Now, I've been teaching people for a while, and like, you don't have to know much about what I'm going to teach you to actually start to enjoy moving with your partner at home. You might
Mm-hmm.
not feel comfortable doing it on stage. You won't feel comfortable doing it on stage. You
Mm-hmm.
might not want to go to a tango social dance yet, but I'm going to give you some ways of moving with each other that embody the kind of things that I'll talk about in the yoga, and that Fabiola will talk about in the Tantra, that give you a place to tussle again, to play.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not about, it's not about sex. It's not about trying to resolve an argument. It's not about any of that stuff. It's about, how do I, as a masculine identified man, how do I create a space here where she feels comfortable to move so that I can actually enjoy whatever is happening. And on her side, how can she
Trust.
relax? Yeah, trust, absolutely. Trust, and then move into that so that he is moved to actually become more still. So
Mm-hmm.
it's this interesting dynamic where, anyway, that's why the tango is important to me, because it's a structured way of playing.
Exactly. And as a woman, I can see how hard it is to soften,
Yeah.
how hard it is to relax. And I remember I went to Milonga classes maybe 15 years ago, if not more. And it was just basically walking, as you're saying. Most of the class we were just walking in circles with our partner. And as a woman, you're mainly walking backwards, right? So
Yeah.
is you're fully trusting that he's guiding you to a place that you're not going to crash with someone else. And it's a lot about, for me, I remember, in order to land in a space of trust, I would close my eyes. So I could feel that direction that he was guiding me to. So I could feel the step that he was taking, right? And it's that space where it's the embodiment part of healing, because couples can come to a session with me sitting on a couch and we're going to talk about things, but it's different when we can practice it, when we can, one is just going to fully close their eyes and feel the energy and notice the tension in your shoulders, but try to soften, try to relax as you breathe, and as a man or as a lead, to land in a state of confidence, right? Because that's normally where men in my couch and the therapy sessions, they're searching for that confidence. But in the dance floor, in the workshop, then demonstrate, I need to find my confidence right now, not later today, right?
Well, there's something else too, and that is, and again, I'll just quote one of my teachers, which is that instead of trying to change ourselves by using our words or our mind, we use our body.
Mm-hmm.
So we do it, we stand in a posture. So in tango, I'm not going to ask you to, come on, guy, get confident. I'm going to ask you to stand in a way that your chest is open.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you may not feel different, but she feels the difference. With our shoulders relaxed and our heart open, and our chest open, she feels our confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we may not know anything has happened, we've just changed our posture.
Exactly.
So, what you said, about the follow has to absolutely trust the lead. And the lead, we have some really basic things to do. Basically, it's our posture, it's our breath, it's making sure that we're not running the follow into somebody.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to, we may or may not even play music, because sometimes for when we're in that lead place, I'm going to ask you just to focus on your own posture and then trying to feel her, like what her energy is. You mentioned you're walking backwards, and there's a way of walking backwards, and there's a way of connecting to the floor that when the follow does that, that energy moves through their body right into the lead. And you can be, it looks like nothing is happening, but he's, or whoever is leading, feels this incredible rush of this feminine energy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really, again, it's not, you don't have to have fancy moves. You just have to have things like balance, breath, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And all of
You know,
that, it definitely results in some of the qualities in relationships that we are all looking for, that is trust.
I'm sorry, I have to move. I forgot something on the stove.
Oh no.
I was supposed to turn it off before I started this. So it's well done now. Yep, there we go. Yeah. Okay, good. Nothing nothing lost. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. But again, it's like I say to people with tango, and just like life, maybe less so in life, but in tango, there are no mistakes. There's just, okay, how do we make art from whatever happened?
Mm-hmm.
So, in our relationships, often we set up a bunch of, I'm not going to go to boundaries, but we set up certain categories or deal breakers or something like that. And almost inevitably, if you're in a relationship, you will have to deal with the fact that there's a disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a choice. You have a choice of, okay, I end it, or, okay, this is our opportunity to make some kind of art.
Mm-hmm.
This is some kind of opportunity for us to actually deepen the love connection that brought us here.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's why I like using tango.
Beautiful. So we're coming into our 20-minute mark already.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? We've got a couple of people here. If you're here and you're asking questions, we can actually give you a discounted rate. We can give you the early bird rate on this workshop on Saturday.
Yes, just still DM us if you're planning to join and do that. We're happy to do that for you. And Hans, is there a easy practice that people that perhaps cannot join the workshop on Saturday, that they can practice in their relationship at home?
Thank you. Yeah, there's something that's really simple and at the same time really hard to do. And it goes back to what you talked about, like your experience in taking milonga classes, tango classes. What I'm going to invite you to do as a practice, and you can do it right now, you can do it any time of the day, is whenever you find yourself walking, maybe you're walking into the kitchen, or you're walking across the living room floor, or you're at the grocery store, just slow your walking down. Try to slow it to half speed, and then half that again. And just pay attention to how your foot is landing on the ground. Pay attention to what it feels like to press against the ground and move forward. Notice what happens with your breath. Basically, it's an invitation to do a walking, this is called walking meditation. But this is what we do in tango, and it's what we do a lot in the classes, is just get everybody, the leads and the follows, the men and the women, however people identify themselves, to walk slower than they normally would, and then again slower. When you come home after work, let's say you're living with the person you love, you've got a habit of how you come into the house. Maybe just let them know that you're going to take a little bit of time to actually go from the door to seeing them.
Mm.
So you walk in the door, you hang your jacket up, take your shoes off, and let's say this person who's in your life is in the kitchen or in the living room, and you move towards them again, half the speed and then half again that you normally would. And you might want to prepare them for this. Call them ahead or text them or tell them when you leave in the morning that you're going to try this. And just notice what happens as you take your time to enter your home and to come to this person. And if you're on your own, same thing. The dog is bouncing around, talking to you. Just be really calm. Don't get caught up in their energy. Just notice it and walk very, very slowly towards the kitchen or wherever you're going. If you do that a couple of times a day, you'll notice that those are actually calming moments. And in terms of the way I teach, when we walk slowly, and especially if we walk slowly towards something that we desire, whether it's the food in the fridge or the loving arms of the beloved, when we take our time, we actually start to feel a little more of that yearning. There's less taken for granted, and there's more awareness of, oh, like this is something I really,
really want. It's the slow down. We all need fast, right? Slowing down with yourself. It's walking. It's doing this meditation with your partner creates intimacy with your partner. And mainly as a woman, I can really talk about this because it's a complaint that all women have, most women have, of how the men just go fast, 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 right? The only thing that we want is to go slow, to create that intimate connection. So that's a beautiful practice. As simple as walking. That you don't have to do it. Okay. Well,
so we've gone over 20 minutes.
yes.
There are still a couple of tickets there. This Saturday, October 14th in Vancouver. You can find tickets by going to sacredbodies.ca/events. And you can. Do you have tickets on your site as well?
My site is offline right now.
So all the tickets are at sacredbodies.ca/.
Yeah.
If you have any troubles, just send me a message or send Fabiola a message. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm you gather that from the beginning. I get quite excited about how this stuff fits together and what I've watched happen for couples.
Sorry?
The things that I've watched happen for couples. Like I get to watch this every week, and it breaks my heart. It feels so good.
Beautiful. So I'll see you on Saturday for sure. And the couples that join us. We have a couple of spaces open, so we look forward to see who's joining. And as you said at the beginning, we're going to keep repeating these events. Our intention is to that they happen, right? Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you very much, Fabiola. Thank you, everybody who's been here.
Have
Bye-bye.
a good night.